Welcome back to another math video. This one here, we are going to cover one of our trickier topics so far of 5th grade, which is adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. So the trickiest part about this is the concept of our denominators. They play quite the stickler in solving our problems because in adding and subtracting fractions, you need to make sure that your denominators are alike. And we cannot add or subtract until they are. So we do need to know a lot of equivalent fraction work and how to make those denominators change and know the rule of whatever I do to my denominator, I do to my numerator. So just to kind of start a quick example here, I'll pick one that already has our denominator set up as equal, just to kind of, help us be successful. So 3/8 plus 4/8. Okay, well, we learned in class this during this chapter of understanding we need to ask ourselves a little series of questions to make sure we're taking our paced time. We ask ourselves first, can I? So in this situation, when I say can I, what that relates to is, can I add or subtract these? And where the student's attention should be drawing is my denominators. So in this specific question, can I? Yes. And then we ask ourselves, why? Well, why? Because my denominators are already the same. I'll show another example after this one of what happens when they're not and how we can approach those questions. So once my denominators are the same, I can go ahead and add or subtract. Okay? The big rule in adding and subtracting is my denominator does not change. So the first thing I always do is go ahead and put that denominator over. A very big mistake that happens is students will add those together or subtract them apart and leave themselves with the wrong answer. They'll put 8 plus 8 is 16. Well, that's going to be a mistake here. Okay, so now I just add my top. 3 plus 4, 7. And so a very simple adding fraction problem there. 3/8 plus 4/8 is 7/8. Nice and easy. All right, so let me clear this off here. And we'll do one where our denominators are not the same. So if I have something like 3/5 plus 1/8, we'll do something like that. All right, so again, we ask ourselves the question, a series of can I, why, and then what we add on when they're not the same is how can I get them there? So again, can I solve this problem? No. The reason why, these are not the same. So there's my can I and my why. So now we add in this question of how can I? Meaning, how can I get these to be a common denominator? A very easy trick is to basically multiply your denominators together. That's going to be a common denominator, but sometimes that leaves you a little bit too much reducing to do in the end. Okay, so if I'm looking at 5 and 8, my only option really is going to be to do 5 times 8, which is 40. If my other fraction, let's say, for example here, I'll change the pace up, but let's just say instead of 1 that this was 4. All right, what we learned in class is to think to ourselves, well, 4/8 we know is half. So I can actually take a little different approach and then think to myself, well, what if this was just half, 1/2? Well, then the 5 and the 2 can both land on 10, and then I make it out of 10. So there are some situations where you can do a little critical thinking. But in this situation, that's not our case, so we'll just set it up to be out of 40. So I'm going to rewrite my problem here as 40 plus something over 40. And now we have to think of, again, this how question. How did I do that? Well, 5 times 8 is 40, and there's the rule of whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. That's how we set up an equivalent fraction. A very common mistake is students do not change that top number, and it'll just set you up to have a wrong answer. So we have to make sure to do the whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top step. So in this case here, 3 times 8 is 24. And how did I get my 8 to 40? Well, that was times 5. So whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So 1 times 5 is 5. And now we can kind of re-ask ourselves the can I? Yes, my denominators are the same now, so I can add them. So as I go to rewrite my final answer here, I right away, first things first, put it over 40. And now I just do some very basic addition here. 24 plus 5 is 29. So 29 over 40. So if I were to rewrite this question, 3/5 plus 1/8, it equals 29/40. And we would be taking the step looking here if I could reduce my fraction of 29 over 40. And in this case, I cannot. 29 is not a number that works with 40 because it's prime. So I'm actually just going to leave this as 29 over 40. All right. So again, we are left with a regular fraction there, nothing improper. And remember, in another video, we talked about how to convert those improper fractions to mixed numbers. So if we take a look at a fraction problem here, which would set us up with improper, I just make sure to pick some fractions that are closer to a whole, like these two are. No, actually, let me back that up. Let's not do that example because that'll be a little bit too simple to explain. Take it up a little notch here. We'll do 4/9. All right. So 6/8 plus 4/9. So remember, can I? No, I can't. How can I? Well, I have to get my denominators to be the same. So in this case here, 8 and 9 will first land on their true multiplication of each other, 72. So I'm going to rewrite this problem as over 72. How did I get there? Well, I did 8 times 9, so I have to do 6 times 9, which is 54. And how did I get from 9 to 72? Well, I timesed it by 8, so I have to do 4 times 8, which is 32. So now I have my new problem that now, yes, I can solve this. So I'm going to kind of rewrite this down here for a second. Or actually, I'll just solve the problem here. So remember, our denominator always stays the same as 72. And I'm just going to set up 54 plus 32, and that's going to equal 86. So there is my part 1 of my answer. Okay, we don't want to leave things as improper fractions. So our goal is then to make it a mixed number. All right, so remember in that other video, we talked about how to do that. So I look at my improper fraction here and I ask myself, how many groups of 72 can I take out of 86? Okay, well, 1. So my answer is going to be 1 whole. If I were to take that 72 out of 86, how many would be left behind? So I just subtract 86 minus 72, and I would get 14. And just like the rule that we've been stating, denominators don't change, they stay the same. So 1 and 14 over 72. Now I can reduce that as well. Remember, the 1 stays the same. I don't change the whole number. I could divide these down both by 2. 14 divided by 2, since they're even, is 7. And 72 divided by 2 is 36. And that right there would be my final answer. Because 7 is prime and does not land on 36, I leave it like that. So just to go back up and take a look here, 6/8 plus 4/9 equals 1 7/36. So it may seem a little complicated with that. You know, our denominators are making some big changes here, but that is the true, in fact, answer. I'll do another video here after this one that will talk about how to subtract fractions.